And welcome everybody to another episode of Glove Up or Shut Up right here on AngryMarks.com. I don't know how we're going to transition, but we should transition to this weekend's UFC show on the Fight Pass, UFC Fight Night 107.
If I may say so, I'm not quite as excited about this card as I was about UFC Fight Night 106. Jimi Manuwa and Corey Anderson, that doesn't light my world on fire. There's a reason this is on Fight Pass.
I know why I'm going to watch this fight. There's a certain fighter, who I'm sad to see go, but, man, to go out on Fight Pass? Come on. He deserves better than that. No, the main event, Manuwa and Anderson, I'm entertained by that fight. I'm going to lean more towards Anderson in that one, but I don't know if that's a fool's bet or not, but I think Anderson's got this one probably, oh God, I hate saying this, but decision.
Corey Anderson, just looking at the numbers here, it's definitely his chance to vault ahead because he's 6th in the division, Manuwa is 4th in the division, so if he's going to make a statement, now is the time to do it. Mm-hmm. Now is the place to do it. And if he shits the bed here, then he's going to the back of the line behind guys like Volkan Ozdemir, OSP, Rogerio Nogueira. He's got a lot to lose here.
So, I guess you could call this like an eliminator fight almost?
It's borderline to being, because both these guys have been in the middle of the pack for a while now, so somebody's got to emerge at some point. Before we go any further, let me pull up the betting odds and see what they have to say about this fight. We've got Jimi Manuwa as the favorite as of the recording of this show, minus 150. Corey Anderson is plus 130.
I hate saying it, but I've said this before multiple times. You bring up the odds, it probably changed at the weigh-ins.
I think so too. Corey Anderson just, like you said, I hate saying decision, but if he does win, it's probably going to be a decision because he just doesn't really deliver the excitement that you want in fights. He just goes out there and he grinds and he ekes it away and he wins on points, which is really a shame because we know he's capable of so much more than that.
Oh, I agree, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure after this fight, I'll say I never want to see this fight again.
Yes.
Alan Jabran against Gunnar Nelson in the co-main event.
This one has a much more sizable line. Nelson is minus 350. Jabran is plus 290.
Plus 290?
That's right.
Nelson's power, though. I'm...
Well, look at the two guys that have beat Nelson.
Yeah, I know.
Damian Maia and Rick Story. No shame in either one of those.
No, definitely no shame in that. 290 is very tempting.
Yeah, especially considering Japan is on a 3-fight win streak, and his last loss was to Albert Tumanov. So you might want to play that 290. I can see the thinking.
Brad Pickett in his farewell fight against, on short notice, Marlon Vera.
Now, why is that short notice? Do tell the people.
I believe it's an injury.
I have it as he pulled out a week before the event, but it doesn't say why.
I think I heard injury, but I think it's very tight-lipped as to what.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get that where they won't release the actual injury because he's probably a minor injury and they don't want to put it out there because his opponent on a short-term notice probably pick it. That, you know what I mean? We'll go after it. So.
But either way, Henry Briones is out and Marlon Vera is in. And speaking of injury replacements, we've got to talk about Bellator 177 when we're through.
Oh, yes. No, definitely in my news update for sure. But
as for this fight, Pickett is the narrow favorite at minus 145 to plus 125.
I would put money on Pickett. Pickett and Jubran is on a back-to-back fight here.
You know what? I'm actually going to say the opposite. I'm not saying this is my pick, but I'm saying if you were going to make a parlay out of this on a card that's pretty unimportant anyway, why not just go ahead and go with Marlon Vera and go with Jimi Manuwa and go with Alan Jaban and see if you can make some money off that by combining all three of those together.
But then again, if you have to make a parlay on a Fight Pass card, not saying there's a problem with that, but there might be a problem with that.
Yeah, but I feel like Pickett's gonna do well since it's his last fight ever, and this is a late notice replacement, so I would still go ahead and pick Pickett, even though I do feel like it's time for him to go.
I think with Pickett on a short-term fight, with all the extra motivation Pickett's going to have in this fight, how can you pick against him?
You almost can, because, as I said, I really do think it's time for Pickett to go. He's lost 5 of his last 6 fights. It's not been going very well.
Yeah, but you've heard the term leaving everything in the cage. Well, literally, this is the definition of that.
Yeah, if he doesn't go out here and get a win in his final fight ever, then he should retire anyway. It's either do or die at this point.
Mm-hmm. And Arnold Allen against Makwan Amirkhani wraps up your main card on Fight Pass.
This is a total pick'em fight. Amirkhani is minus 130. Allen is plus 110. You can go either way with this.
And you know me, Stevie. I would lean more as to another fight that's on the prelims that would definitely be better suited in that spot to open the main card. But they need a fight to put on the main card or the prelims as a headliner. Riza Madadi against Joseph Duffy.
This one has a huge line. Duffy is minus 680.
Yeah. Surprised it's not 7.
Yeah. Madadi is probably going to die.
Oh.
I don't mean literally. I just mean he's not winning.
Just the way you said that after our chat about a former wrestler who passed away this week. I was like, Jesus, of all the weeks to say it.
No, I don't mean literally. I just mean he's getting decimated in this fight. I don't think Duffy is going to hold anything back here.
No. So that's the show from the O2 Arena as far as the fights that, you should check out. But we have a lot of news to get to here. And a name you might be familiar with, Stevie, might be hanging it up. There's rumors that Nam Fan might be retiring.
Yeah, I guess I can't say I'm surprised. He's been around for a long time, too, and it's probably about time. He's been everywhere that you can be. He's been an Ultimate Fighter. He's been in Bellator. He's been around the block and back again, so.
Now, Misha Kirkunov signed a new deal. The Canadian will be fighting Volkan Ozdemir in the co-main at UFC Fight Night 109 in Stockholm, Sweden.
Okay, well, Ozdemir is a guy whose stock is on the rise lately, so that's a dangerous opponent. And
Paige Van Zandt might be leaving Team Alpha Male. Rumor has it that she has bought a house out in Oregon and she might be opening up her own gym.
Oh, well, I don't think that's done with any malice. I've not heard about any bad blood between her and Team Alpha Male, so it's probably just a move for her personal life, and that's all I would attribute to that.
Rafael Dos Anjos has said that fighting at lightweight does not, quote, make financial sense. Is there no money in fights at 155?
Yeah, I wonder about that, considering Conor McGregor is getting plenty of money.
Well, at 155 or 170?
At 155, I'm pretty sure he's getting plenty money.
Yeah, I guess.
He is the champion, so.
He is the champ. We talked about Conor McGregor earlier on the show. For those who missed it, his grappling partner, Dylan Danny, has signed with Bellator.
That's right. I had to cover that news last night. You broke it to me, and then I wrote the story up a couple hours later at the request of my editor. So a lot of people don't seem to like Dylan. I noticed a very negative trend among the maniacs who were commenting on him. I guess either because he talks big or because he hangs out with Conor. A lot of people say he's a quote-unquote D-bag.
Ooh.
But you know
what?
What?
There's no D-bags in Bellator, so he's fine.
They can say that all they want, but as far as I know, Dylan's the real deal when it comes to his jiu-jitsu, because this guy won a international Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournament at 23 years old as a brown belt. So, to me, that says he's a fucking badass when it comes to the grappling and jiu-jitsu. And if Conor McGregor wants to hang with him and have him as a training partner, you can tell that Conor feels like this guy is the real deal.
Now, Stevie, how far is Kansas City to you?
About 3 hours.
Would you go there for UFC Fox 24?
I'm already credentialing for it.
Roy Nelson has been added to the show to fight Alexander Volkov.
Ooh, that's a nice addition for me. That's a little bonus.
I like that. That's going to be two big boys, I think someone wants to say there. Mm-hmm. Two big boys.
And if we haven't already said so on this show, the main event of that card is Wilson Hayes challenging Demetrius Johnson for the flyweight title. And if DJ wins, he either ties or sets the record. I forget which, but it'll be his 10th successful title defense.
Wow. That's good when you're in double digits. Now, I have an opinion question for you. Now, this is something Cormier said, and I'm not sure I like where this is going. He says, who else is there to fight for the title at 205 between Jones, Cormier, and Gustafsson?
Well, what is it you're looking for me to say in response to that?
Is there anyone else that could fight at 205 with Cormier as a champion?
Maybe Corey Anderson if he wins the fight with Jimi Manuwa.
I could see Anderson, but, I mean, Gustafsson, maybe Jones. I don't ever want to see Jones again. Anderson would be nice. I'm sure there's a few fighters who are itching to go, but I don't think Cormier's at that dominant position like DJ is, where he can fight the number 8 guy or the number 9 guy.
I think you got a point there. I don't think Cormier has quite wiped out the division to the degree that he can say there's nobody left for him to fight. In fact, given his performance over the weekend, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility for Shogun Rua to fight him for the title.
Well, no, you got a point. Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't think of that, but yeah, Shogun put his name in there for sure.
I mean, if Jimi Manuwa loses, that moves Shogun up a spot.
It does. Now, I saved the best for last, Stevie. The big news for Bellator 177. Take it away.
We found out earlier today that Darian Caldwell, as you alluded to earlier with a fight on this UFC Fight Pass show, he probably doesn't want to let people know what. Just it's up in the air right now as to what's going on with Darian Caldwell. But in his stead is another guy with the nickname Pitbull. I know you're sick of fighters being nicknamed Pitbull, but Leandro Ego has arguably earned it. This guy was on The Ultimate Fighter Season 4 in Brazil. He's, 17-2, I believe. Maybe it was 17-4. I'll double check again his official record, but he's a legit tough dude. He's not a scrub in replacement. He's gonna give Eduardo Dantas everything he can handle, because the key to Eduardo Dantas, the way he fights people, is he's faster than everybody and just outworks them and can get in and out on strikes with them. But if Ego gets any chance, he's not going to play that game with him, because 59% of his wins come by submission. So give Ego a chance, and he's going to take you to the ground and finish your night. And I'm sure Dantas isn't going to try to give him that chance, because Dantas has not been submitted once in all 4 of his losses. So even though it's looking pretty good for Eduardo Dantas with this alternate opponent, arguably he's just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than Darian Caldwell, who simply had the name and the momentum from being around Bellator and talking the talk and only having 1 loss and something of a fluke. So Darian was the guy who was sitting poised to challenge, but I think this is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, for Dantas.
It's an interesting fight, but for different reasons, that's all.
Exactly. Whereas Caldwell was undoubtedly a superior wrestler. The question was going to be, would he be fast enough to get to the takedown?